So my group and I decided to explore the University of Toronto's IT help desk that mainly focuses on computer repair and integrating different softwares into different laptops and stuff like that. So after interviewing them, we realized that there were two major threats that they were facing. The first one is the one class phishing scam that went around the University of Toronto. Different servers, emails were sent on the behalf of students, stuff like that, to try to promote their note-taking services that the university did not support. The second threat was the notion of unsecured printers that were still existent at the University of Toronto that were causing very big problems in terms of information theft and stuff like that. So what we decided to do is do a risk assessment of the University of Toronto help desk, and it's very important to do this in order to analyze if there's any possible risks that can actually threaten the business process of the IT help desk. And also, because cybersecurity is increasing the more that we're moving towards the internet and moving towards the cloud space, it's very important for the University of Toronto IT help desk to prepare for these phishing attacks and security threats that will happen in the future. So there are five main steps in risk assessment, and the first step is to firstly identify what the major threats the University of Toronto is facing. And again, I've mentioned the one class phishing scam, which essentially, if you download the Chrome extension of one class, they were able to, or they are able to retrieve your information, send an email on your behalf talking about, oh, this note-taking service is awesome and stuff like that. You should definitely click on the link and stuff like that, but it was not sent from you. The second threat that we identified is, again, the unsecured printers. And these unsecured printers can lead to full network vulnerability. So that means that hackers have access to sensitive information if they were able to tap into these wireless or Wi-Fi enabled printers, stuff like that. The second step of risk assessment for the IT help desk is to recognize who is actually affected by these threats and by these cybersecurity threats. And there are many large stakeholders at the University of Toronto that are mainly affected. The first one is faculty members, students, government agencies that are affiliated with the University of Toronto, and all the other affiliates. So there's a lot of people that are actually affected by these phishing scams and cybersecurity threats. The third step is to evaluate the risk and try to decide what the control measures are. So for the first threat of the one class phishing scam, these threats can be controlled, but they cannot be fully eliminated because, again, phishing scams are not really something that the University of Toronto can just say, oh, we just can't, just completely eradicate it. We cannot do that. But on the other hand, with the unsecure printers, these threats can be completely eliminated. And that means, sticking to traditional Wi-Fi enabled printers, and that would completely eliminate the network vulnerability that University of Toronto is having, and access to sensitive information. Now the fourth step that of risk assessment is to record findings and reflect on the approaches of the risk assessment plan. And when we spoke to Susan Sense, who is the managing director of the University of Toronto Help Desk Department, she said that she was able to speak to her staff regarding the implementation, and she put the risk assessment plan on the staff room for everyone to see, and she's going to, after speaking to her, she said that she's going to actually make that part of the process for new employees and actually train them on this. And apparently, after speaking to them 2 weeks ago, that they have been seeing a lot more improvements as per our suggestions. So the fifth step of the risk assessment is to, again, review and update the plan. So when we all spoke to Susan, she said that she is actually going to commit to review and update the risk assessment plan every single year. And if there's any sort of major changes that happen in the computer service department at the University of Toronto, that she's going to update that first thing in her plan. So again, so that concludes our risk assessment plan for the University of Toronto. There's a lot of threats, and it's very important, especially for a university that actually, where information and intellectual property is a big thing for a university, to actually ensure that there's a risk assessment plan incorporated in the university. Thank you very much for listening.